welcome. Welcome in. If you're here for the body image and the queer community webinar, you are in the right place. I'm going to give it a couple of minutes as everybody logs in, just so that we have everyone here with us before we get started. So as we're waiting, feel free to share where you're located in the chat. We'd love to hear where you're tuning in from. I'm up here in thankfully sunny New Hampshire. It has been not sunny the past few days. It's been very rainy, but luckily it is sunny today. As people come in, this is the body image and the queer community webinar. We're so excited to have you. We'll give it a few minutes as everyone gets logged in. We're so glad to have you here. We'll get started. That chat and also the Q&A, which is another icon you'll see at the bottom of your Zoom screen, are great places to use throughout the webinar to place your reactions and your questions. That way we can make sure to answer them as we go. All right, so let's get started. Hello again, everyone. Welcome to this Balance webinar, Body Image and the Queer Community, the ways gender and sexuality shape our self-image. Thank you so much for being here and for taking the time to tune in today. You are putting energy towards learning about yourself and getting the support you or someone you love may need, and we are so happy to have you with us. I'm Alexandra. I am the Intuitive Eating and Haze content creator here at Balance, and I'll be moderating this presentation today, so I'll be around. You'll see my face. Just a little bit about Balance. Balance is a premier eating disorder treatment facility offering boutique outpatient treatment options that use evidence-based practices to provide customized care that best fits you and your loved ones in recovery. Besides myself today, I'd like to introduce the rest of the Balance staff that's joining us, or some of the Balance staff that's joining us. Tala is an intake coordinator here at Balance, and Tala and I will be here to keep a lookout for your questions as we move through this presentation. So please feel free to share any thoughts or reactions or questions you have in that chat or the Q&A panel at the bottom of your Zoom screen. We will check in with those, make sure your questions get answered, and we also have some time set aside for questions at the end of the presentation. Now I want to introduce our presenter for today. Andromeda Rodriguez is Balance's content editor and marketing assistant. Andromeda uses they, them, and she, her pronouns. They graduated from Champlain College with a bachelor's degree in creative media and specializations in visual arts, filmmaking, and creative writing. Andromeda's photography has been featured in New York art festivals, galleries, Balance's own website in the staff photography, and their Pride zine, which gave them the unique opportunity to lecture at Northern Illinois University on the importance of storytelling and Indigenous communities in April 2023, to an outstanding reception, which is so amazing. We're so excited. Additionally, Andromeda's poetry has been featured in a number of literary magazines, both foreign and domestic, as well as in poetry clubs and reading events in New York and abroad. As the cinematographer and creative consultant, their most recent project, My Fierce Aunt Bianca, premiered at the Inside Out Toronto Film Festival in June 2023. So thank you so much for joining us today, Andromeda. We are so lucky to be here with you and to be learning from you. So I will pass it over to you and you can take over.
Amazing. Hi, everyone. I'm Andromeda. I'm so excited to be here to be celebrating at the very, very end of Pride Month with you all. In honor of Pride Month, we are so excited to be talking about body image and the queer community, and specifically the ways that gender and sexuality shape self-image. Pride Month is not only a time to celebrate diversity and promote equity, but it's also an opportunity for us to really delve deeper into complex intersections of identity that play a crucial role in shaping our experiences. Body image, a topic often fraught with misconceptions and biases can take on a unique and multi-layered significance within the queer community. Today, we are going to explore how elements such as gender and sexuality influence self-perception and self-worth. We recognize that each individual's experience is, of course, unique and multifaceted, shaped by a myriad of personal and social factors. By diving into this topic, we aim to highlight those experiences while also shedding light on ways that we can support body respect and self-acceptance within our community. So whether you identify as a member of the queer community or you're an ally looking to better understand and support, we welcome you to engage, learn, and celebrate with us today. You guys should be more than happy to ask questions. Please ask questions. I'm happy to answer. We will also be asking y'all some questions just to make this a little bit more of a dialogue and less of a lecture. I would love to chit chat with y'all and see what your thoughts are. We believe that by shedding light on these intersections of identity, we can together foster a more inclusive, accepting, and compassionate world. Thank you for being a part of this journey with us. Understanding body image. Let's define it first. What is body image? To start, body image is how we perceive, think, and feel about our bodies. So this perception can significantly impact our self-esteem, of course, and overall mental health. Body image isn't merely a reflection of our physical appearance. It's also shaped by a range of influence, such as personal experiences, comments from others, societal and cultural beauty standards. To research by the Mental Health Foundation, our body image is influenced by a range of factors, including our personal and interpersonal experiences and societal and cultural standards of beauty. First, personal factors, of course. Personal factors, including our self-esteem, our mental health, and personal experiences, largely influence our body image. This might include experiences like how we felt growing up, whether we were teased about our looks, our successes or struggles in physical activities, and how we perceive our physical selves. If one's self-esteem is low, this can lead to a negative body image and vice versa. 2, interpersonal factors. For the people around us, our parents, siblings, friends, partners, and even colleagues greatly impact how we view ourselves. Comments about our bodies, comparisons made by others, or pressure from peers to look a certain way can shape our body image. Moreover, positive or negative feedback from those around us can either reinforce or challenge our personal beliefs about our bodies. Third, social and cultural factors. Society and culture exert a strong influence on our body image. Mainstream media, movies, TV shows, advertisements, and social media platforms often promote specific body types or appearances as the ideal, which are often unrealistic and unattainable for many of us. Societal beauty standards can vary between cultures and over time, but they commonly favor certain sizes, shapes, skin colors, or features over others. Individuals who do not traditionally fit these standards may feel marginalized or dissatisfied with their bodies. Personal experiences with our bodies and the feedback we receive from people around us can significantly change the way that we see ourselves. On a societal and cultural level, the beauty standards perpetuated by the media, industries like fashion and cosmetics, and even the toys that children play with, all shape our understanding of what is considered beautiful or desirable. These standards often uphold narrow and unrealistic ideals that can be hard to achieve and maintain, leading to negative body image. The interplay of personal, interpersonal, and societal or cultural influences formulates our body image, often leading to a very complex relationship with our bodies. Understanding these influences is the very first step to promoting a more aligned and positive body image. When it comes to the queer community, these influences can be even more complex. As per the study shared on Outright Newsmag, these standards can encourage homonormativity, the pressure to conform to the mainstream heteronormative appearances and behaviors, which can further impact body image and mental health within the community. We want to ask y'all, how have societal norms around body image impacted your own self-image?
That's a great question, Andromeda. Sorry, I don't mean to jump in. I'm just going to encourage everyone to think about it and answer in the chat. And I think Andromeda will get back to, talking about that in a little bit.
Yes, we have a point where we'll pause and go through all of your lovely answers in a few. Next, we will talk about specifically the queer community and body image, what we are all here for. Queer community, much like the broader society, harbors its own ideals, which can have significant implications on body image. These ideals can sometimes mirror heteronormative standards, or they can veer towards specific aesthetics shared within different queer subcultures. Such ideals can lead to body dissatisfaction and mental health issues for those who feel like they do not meet those standards. The body ideals can vary greatly within the queer community itself, influenced by factors such as gender, race, and age. Some subcultures might emphasize hypermasculinity or femininity. Others might value androgyny, while others might reject mainstream body ideals altogether in favor of body diversity and individuality. As detailed in the ScholarWorks article, the queer community fosters spaces and subcultures that resist mainstream beauty standards and celebrate body diversity, providing solace and acceptance for those who do not conform to societal norms. However, these countercultural implications can often feel alienating for many queer people, like femme sapphics, who often feel like they don't look queer enough, or other folks who do not fit into the very neat box that so many countercultures end up creating. Similarly, We Create Space highlighted the importance of representation and positive role models in promoting a healthier body image in the queer community. By showcasing diverse bodies and narratives, we can challenge the established norms and encourage self-love and acceptance. Another question for y'all to think about, in what ways do you think gender identity and expression influence body image perceptions in the queer community? Yes, definitely keep track of those questions in the chat just to make it a little easier for everybody to keep track of. Thank you so much, Alexandra. Let's talk about where they intersect and where this bridge starts to get built. Body image is not just about physical appearance. It's also deeply intertwined with one's sexuality and gender identity. For example, individuals might feel a pressure to look a certain way to be perceived as their true gender, or they might feel that their bodies do not reflect their gender identity, leading to what's called gender dysphoria. Such factors can significantly impact an individual's self-image and self-esteem. The intersection of body image, sexuality, and gender identity is a deeply intricate and personal experience. Let's dive deeper into each of these components. So we've discussed body image, how we perceive and think and feel about our bodies. Sexuality refers to an individual's sexual orientation or preference. It's an integral part of one's identity and can interact with body image in very complex ways. For example, societal prejudices and norms around sexuality can impact how individuals perceive their bodies. Within the queer community, there are specific beauty standards and body ideals tied to different sexual orientations, which can influence body image and self-esteem. Gender identity refers to an individual's personal sense of their gender. So gender and sex are two separate concepts and identities. The intersection of these three components is particularly important within the queer community. Consider a gay man having to navigate the body ideals within certain gay male subcultures that emphasize fitness and masculinity, or a transgender woman dealing with societal beauty standards, gender dysphoria, and the process of transitioning, or a bisexual individual grappling with the heteronormative as well as queer body ideals. The multitude of experiences within the queer community highlights the need for a diverse representation of body types, sexualities, and gender identities in media, as well as accessible and affirming mental and physical health care services. Understanding these complex intersections can help us foster a more inclusive, accepting environment that celebrates all bodies and identities. How do you think you might be able to build more inclusive spaces that prioritizes diverse body types and expressions within your community, be that queer or otherwise? The conversation surrounding body image, gender, and sexuality within the queer community is a very nuanced one. To promote body image or positive body image, we must address the influence of societal beauty standards and encourage representation and celebrate the diversity within our community. By doing so, we can hope to foster an environment where everybody feels seen, accepted, and confident in their own skin.
All right. So I've been putting the questions into the chat. We're going to take a second here. If you have any thoughts that are coming up, please feel free to put them in the chat or in the Q&A function. It should be at the bottom of your screen. I know personally, I was thinking about your first question, Andromeda. How have societal norms around body image impacted your own self-image? And I think I was just sort of floored with how much societal norms have impacted my own body image, and my own image of myself, and wondering how we begin, or if you have any thoughts on separating those two things. Like, how do you begin to sort of decide what is my self-image and what is the norm that has been placed on me by society?
It's really hard, right? Because this is something that we've been dealt with for our entire lives. I mean, straight from birth, we're given these ideals to abide by, especially when it comes to gender, but also, of course, body image. I think that beginning to find your own sense of individuality, not only just in like aesthetic values, but also in comfort, like what makes you feel more like yourself, etc., is a great way to start beginning to deconstruct that. I mean, it really is a deconstruction. It really is just like constant work. But I think that's where I started for sure, thinking about what makes me feel most like myself and what makes me feel most at home within my own body.
Yeah, I love that. I really appreciate that. The idea of finding comfort and maybe safety in your own space, which is, your existence, your body, your world. That sounds like a really powerful part of finding yourself, or finding your self-image, or, finding what body image means to you.
For sure. I think life is too short to not want to find comfort and safety, especially within your own body. I think that finding and feeling safe within your own body and feeling not like your body is the enemy is a very important goal to strive for.
Yeah, agreed. And I think that recognizing, and I know you're going to get to this, but just throwing this out there, that you don't have to do that alone.
Exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, it looks like we don't have any other questions right now. So if you want to keep going, I'll keep an eye out and let you know if we have any more comments or questions to talk on.
Totally. And y'all please feel free to ask any and all questions. We have the beautiful Q&A feature that will keep us all organized, and we promise we will get to you. So gender dysphoria, body dysmorphia, and the queer community, a very big topic, but we will try our best. For some individuals, their bodies might not reflect their true identity, leading to a form of distress known as gender dysphoria. This collision between body image and gender dysphoria can complicate an individual's relationship with their own body and self-image. So body dysmorphia, known as body dysmorphic disorder or BDD, involves a preoccupation with perceived flaws or defects in one's own appearance that are not noticeable to others or are very slight. People with body dysmorphia may engage in repetitive behaviors like excessive grooming, seeking assurance, or comparing oneself to others to avoid certain situations due to their concerns about their experience. Gender dysphoria refers to distress experienced by individuals whose gender identity does not align with the sex assigned to them at birth. It involves a deep-rooted and persistent discomfort with one's assigned gender and a strong desire to be recognized and treated as the gender that they identify with. Gender dysphoria is typically associated with a longing for physical characteristics, social roles, or presentation that are congruent with one's gender identity. While these two are very separate, there are instances where they overlap and contribute to each other. It's very much a feedback loop. For example, individuals with body dysmorphia might experience dissatisfaction with specific body features that they perceive as incongruent with their gender identity, adding to their gender dysphoria-related distress. This misalignment of body image, gender identity, and sexuality can have significant implications for mental health and can contribute to the development of eating disorders, depression, and anxiety. Individuals who feel a misalignment with their body, gender identity, and sexuality might experience heightened levels of depression and anxiety. This can stem from internal conflict, societal pressures, or discrimination. Gender dysphoria. Transgender and gender nonconforming individuals might experience gender dysphoria if their physical appearance does not align with their gender identity. This can lead to significant distress and negatively impact mental health. Or minority stress, or the stress associated with belonging to a marginalized group, can compound these issues. Discrimination, prejudice, stigma, and a lack of acceptance can exacerbate mental health problems. The pressures and stressors related to gender identity, sexuality, and body image can also increase the risk of eating disorders. Here's how. Control and coping. Eating disorders could be a way of exercising control when individuals feel unable to control other aspects of their life, such as their body's alignment with their gender identity or societal acceptance of their sexuality. Internalized societal standards. Societal and media messages promoting unrealistic beauty standards can foster body dissatisfaction and contribute to the development of eating disorders. This underlines the importance of mental health support and eating disorder treatment that is affirming, culturally competent, and sensitive to the unique needs and experiences of the queer community. The process of aligning one's physical appearance with their gender identity, often referred to as transitioning, can hold significant power in shaping self-image and body image. This is especially important in the context of transgender and gender nonconforming individuals who may experience a disconnect between their gender identity and their physical form. Transitioning helps with the reduction of gender dysphoria, which is, as we have previously discussed, a deep discomfort or distress involved by this disconnect, can have a profound impact on body image and mental health. By transitioning, individuals can reduce or eliminate feelings of gender dysphoria, resulting in a more positive body image. Affirmation of self-identity. Transitioning can play a crucial role in affirming an individual's self-identity by making changes to their physical appearance that align with their gender identity. Individuals can see a reflection of their true self when they look in the mirror. This affirmation can significantly boost self-esteem and self-confidence. Improve mental health. Studies have found that gender-affirming surgeries and treatments can lead to significant improvements in mental health. Reduced anxiety, depression, and suicidality have all been reported post-transition, further underlining the positive impact transitioning can have on an individual's self-image. Increased social recognition. Transitioning can also lead to an increased recognition and acceptance in social settings. Being addressed and perceived by others according to one's true gender identity can positively impact social interactions and interpersonal relationships, leading to a more positive self-image. There are many, many ways to transition. For many folks, transitioning could simply mean a new haircut, a shift in tone of voice, or a new outfit. It could even mean using new pronouns publicly and shifting the gendered language that one is okay with being used towards themselves. Pronouns and how we express our gender are fundamental ways that we represent our identity and ourselves to ourselves and others. They're vital tools of self-recognition and autonomy, allowing us to assert control over our self-definition and self-image. This autonomy can enhance self-esteem and self-confidence. They promote self-recognition. Pronouns and gender expression are fundamental ways individuals represent their identity to themselves and to others. They serve as vital tools for individuals, particularly those within the queer community, to express their personal understanding and experience of their gender. Autonomy. Choosing one's own pronouns and how to express one's gender reflects an individual's autonomy over their identity. It's a way of asserting control over self-definition, which can enhance self-esteem and confidence. Visibility and validation. The use of pronouns that are preferred and accurate recognition of someone's gender expression validate their identity. It acknowledges and affirms their lived experiences, thus fostering a sense of belonging and reducing feelings of marginalization. However, it is important to remember everybody's journey is unique and personal. Transitioning may not be the chosen or available path for all individuals experiencing a disconnect between their physical appearance and their gender identity. Some may not even experience gender dysphoria or may choose to navigate their identity in many other ways. It's also worth noting the process of transitioning can come with its own set of challenges, such as societal prejudice, discrimination, and issues around access to appropriate healthcare. In all cases, fostering an environment of understanding, acceptance, and respect is crucial. This includes recognizing and affirming individuals' identities and experiences, providing accessible and inclusive healthcare, and promoting positive, diverse representations of body and gender identities. Correct use of chosen pronouns, gendered language, and acceptance of gender expression can reduce feelings of gender dysphoria and improve our relationship with our bodies, leading to a more positive overall body image. When others respect pronouns and gender expression, it communicates acceptance, which can enhance self-acceptance. Furthermore, it has been shown that respecting an individual's pronouns and gender expression can contribute to better mental health outcomes, reducing risks for mental health disorders, eating disorders, and even suicidality. Respecting gender expression affirms and validates our identities. The affirmation it helps to foster a positive body image, which can in turn contribute to a healthier body image. In conclusion, respecting pronouns and gender expression is not just about courtesy, it's about recognizing and affirming an individual's identity. It's a small but significant step that can have profound impacts on mental health and body image. By fostering a culture of respect and affirmation, we can contribute to promoting positive body image and overall well-being. We talked about gender dysphoria, but I want to ask you all about gender euphoria, which is the exact opposite. It's feeling just like you are exactly where you need to be, like you are the most yourself and most within your gender identity that you can possibly be. Have you experienced gender euphoria, and how did it affect your confidence? And that's something that anybody can experience, by the way. So whether you're transgender, cisgender, non-binary, everybody can experience gender euphoria and gender dysphoria. Do we have any questions?
Yes, we did. Sorry, I was delayed putting that question in the chat so everyone keeps it in their brains. But yes, we have two questions here. The first one is, what are some ways to affirm someone's identity as an ally?
That's a great question. I think that number one, when talking allyship, is asking the people in your life who belong to that community how you can best help. So whether it's a friend of yours that has just come out, or friends of yours that are now like beginning to talk about these things and be more open about them, and you're just kind of like just beginning to learn, wherever you are on this very, very massive scale, it's important to ask the people in your life where you can most help. Some people might not want you to use their preferred pronouns in certain situations. It's very intimate and like very different to every individual experience. I think overall, just listening to the people in your life, listening to the queer community is the very first step.
Yeah. I think that's really powerful, is just asking and communicating with someone about what they need and want. So
for sure.
Another question that you got is, if people in my life don't affirm my identity, what are some ways that I can self-affirm?
I think number one is finding ways to express yourself outside of like requiring verbal or outside affirmation. So things like clothes, maybe makeup, or other ways to express yourself and find your own individuality and your own just self-expression is really, really important, especially within the queer community. Anybody can go on YouTube and look up any sort of makeup tutorial, whether you're trans and you want to look more masculine or feminine, or if you just want to do something funky with your face. It's literally anything is game within the queer community. I really encourage people to look towards aesthetic expression, but also there are so many guided meditations online for recentering yourself. I think that's also a very big favorite of mine. I love a good guided meditation.
Same. Yeah, I think thank you. That's a great, so those are great suggestions, as well as, again, not to be a broken record, but I think, finding if your community that you're a part of doesn't feel supportive, finding communities that do support you, whether that's, a treatment team or, communities that you can find online or, through different platforms. I don't know.
Absolutely. I mean, finding your found family and finding your community, if the people around you will not respect your identity, is a real, true method of survival. And it is so important for everybody to find. I highly, highly, highly recommend connecting with your local queer community. I promise you it exists, even if like wherever you are, it doesn't feel like it. There are people like us everywhere. And finding your community can make it feel less lonely, for sure, when people aren't respecting you.
Yeah. Thank you. That is all of the questions that I've gotten so far. So if you want to keep going.
Let's talk queer people and people of color and body image. The experiences of queerness and body image are not isolated. They intersect with other aspects of identity, such as race and ethnicity, adding another layer of complexity. For example, a queer person of color might have to navigate racialized beauty standards in addition to heteronormative and queer body ideals. The concept of intersectionality is incredibly important when discussing body image, as it recognizes that people's identities and social positions are not singular, but a complex intersecting web of different aspects. Queer people of color can face unique body image challenges due to intersecting prejudices and biases about race, sexuality, and body size or shape. The intersection of multiple identities, such as race, sexuality, and body size or shape, can have a profound impact on how individuals perceive their bodies. Queer BIPOC folks might face unique challenges in addition to body image due to the combined impact of racism, homophobia, and body shaming. The queer POC community can experience double marginalization due to their race and sexuality. They must navigate not only the ideals of mainstream culture, which often upholds white, thin, cisgendered bodies as the standard, but also those within their racial, ethnic, and queer communities. Racism can significantly impact body image among queer people of color. Racial discrimination and bias can lead to feelings of exclusion and inferiority, contributing to negative body image. The lack of representation or stereotypical portrayal of POC bodies in media can further exacerbate these issues. These interpersonal pressures can contribute to body dissatisfaction and mental health issues. Homophobia, both in society at large and within specific racial or ethnic communities, can compound the body image issues faced by many queer people of color. Discrimination or non-acceptance based on sexual orientation can lead to feelings of shame, isolation, and a heightened awareness or critique of one's physical appearance. Body shaming based on size, shape, or conformity to gender norms can greatly impact body image. Queer people of color can face heightened body shaming due to stereotypes and biases associated with their racial, ethnic, and sexual identities. Understanding the intersectional body image issues faced by queer people of color is crucial in providing effective support and interventions. This includes combating racism and homophobia, promoting diverse representation, and challenging body shaming within and outside of these communities. Through embracing intersectionality, we can work towards a more inclusive understanding of body image and foster body positivity for all. To go back to that question about being a more supportive ally, more inclusive perspective. Understanding pre-colonial and indigenous perspectives on gender fluidity can greatly contribute to creating a more inclusive environment. Let's dismantle some binary norms. Pre-colonial and indigenous societies have often recognized multiple genders and fluidity in gender roles, dismantling the rigid binary of male versus female. This acknowledgement of diversity can help in understanding and validating the experiences of those who identify outside of the gender binary in today's world. Indigenous societies have often respected and valued individuals who embodied both masculine and feminine qualities, often referring to them as Two-Spirit in North America or Hijra in South Asia. We will go over a bunch of them later on. Learning from these cultures can affirm and provide historical context for contemporary, non-binary, genderqueer, and other gender diverse identities. The promotion of acceptance. By acknowledging that gender diversity is not a new or Western concept by any means, but deeply rooted in human history across different cultures, we can challenge transphobia, homophobia, and other gender-based discrimination. This historical perspective can promote acceptance and respect for individuals of all gender identities. Understanding of these pre-colonial and indigenous perspectives can inform more inclusive policies and practices. So this can range from providing options for gender diverse individuals in legal documents to ensuring healthcare and other services are accessible and respectful of all gender identities. The educational impact. Incorporating these historical perspectives into educational curriculum can foster understanding and inclusivity from an early age. This can help to challenge stereotypes from the root, reduce bullying, and promote respect and equality. This can contribute significantly to creating a more inclusive and respectful society for all. For all allies and supporters in the chat, this is a question specifically for allies. How could you contribute to fostering a more healthy body image and self-esteem for queer individuals, especially looking at queer BIPOC and queer indigenous individuals? This is what I was talking about. We are going to look at a bunch of them. I'm just going to very, very, very kind of overarching concept all of these. We have Two-Spirit in North America. Many indigenous cultures in the Americas recognize and revere individuals who embody both feminine and masculine qualities. These individuals are referred to as Two-Spirit, or Two-Spirit is like the overarching term all across North America and many other indigenous communities. But specific tribes will have their own specific terms. They're seen as like very high-ranking spiritual folks with a very specific and important social role within their communities. The Mahu in Hawaii and Tahiti is a traditional gender role outside of the Western concept of gender. It is made for people who have been assigned either male or female at birth. This tradition has existed long before colonization and was an integral role in their society. In certain Balkan societies, the concept of sworn virgins existed, where assigned female individuals took on masculine roles and lived as men. This was often a response to a specific cultural or familial circumstances, and these individuals were socially recognized as men. The Hijra and Aravani in South Asia, and particularly India, are a long-standing historical fact. They are often considered a third gender and have been acknowledged in various religions and social and cultural contexts. They have specific roles and traditions within their communities and are recognized for their unique gender identities and expressions. The Bisu from Indonesia have been, for the past 6 centuries, the whole people of Indonesia have divided their society into not 2, but 5 genders, which coexist harmoniously. The Bisu is defined as all aspects of gender combined to form a whole. So somebody who is intersex is not necessarily automatically assigned to a BISU. They must follow a few different rules and guidelines to eventually be named a BISU, and then they will have specific priestly duties and other spiritual jobs to do within their community. Until the 1940s, the BISU were central to keeping ancient palace rituals alive, including the coronations of kings and queens. And we have so many others. I don't want to keep going and going on, but we have people from Samoa, from Polynesia, from Peru, from Kenya and Tanzania, all across the world. Non-binary and gender non-conforming folks have existed for centuries. It is not a new concept, and it is far from Western or contemporary in nature. There is a really cool map that I have here that I will throw into the chat for anybody that's interested in learning more about how Two-Spirit has evolved and existed over time.
All right, let me check in the chat and in the Q&A. So I did just say that I think it's so powerful to see, I put this in the chat, how prominent and historically prominent and prominent gender nonconformity is, you know, in different cultures, and also in, you know, in indigenous and native cultures, and then how much we don't get to hear about that in Western culture. But it's just very powerful. So I appreciate you sharing that. I'm excited to check out the resource that you shared. I will share it in the chat. I think it accidentally didn't go to everyone.
Oh no.
No worries, I got it.
Thank you.
Also, we had someone in the chat say, looking inward at our own biases when it comes to both gender and body image. And I think that was in response to how could allies and supporters contribute to fostering healthier body image and self-esteem for queer individuals.
For sure. I mean, doing that deconstruction, it really is work. And it's important that we all do that work so that way we can all be more welcoming of transgender and gender nonconforming, and also just LGBTQ folks. My cat has decided to pay us a visit because of course he did. So if you see him in this corner, ignore him. He's just being silly. But it's really important work to be doing for everybody, but especially allies. So when you as an individual haven't experienced this like shift in your thinking, it can be really hard to like actually conceptualize like what being non-binary even is. I mean, I've had, I don't know how many conversations with family and with just folks who saw my pronoun pin on my bag that decided to just like ask me what that means. And it's great to ask somebody in person, but it's even more important to not rely solely on the queer folks in your life to do all of that emotional labor, because it really is work. There are so many resources online to refer to when you're starting to uncover so much of this information.
Yeah, that's important. I was going to follow up and say, where would someone start if they wanted to begin to unpack or unlearn?
I would say I have a few TED Talks here that are in our resources document that have been really, really, honestly, really insightful. I also honestly, I think that everybody should assess their gender at some point. How do you know that you are what you are until you've questioned it? And it's okay for you to come back from that conversation and from that internal dialogue being like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm good with what I'm at, where I'm at. But the moment you start to assess like, well, what am I? And separate from all of these ideas that we've been taught and like kind of drip fed over years and years, how can I start to understand more deeply who I am and really how my existence even works within my own experience? I hope that makes sense. I feel like I just
No, I think it made perfect sense.
Addressing body image issues in the queer community. Let's talk intersectional and affirming strategies. Addressing body image issues within the queer community requires a very multifaceted approach that respects and acknowledges the complex and intersecting identities of individuals. Some strategies that balance is found to be very important are listed here. Comprehensive understanding. Effective interventions need to understand and address the unique experiences of queer individuals, including the effects of homophobia, transphobia, sexism, racism, and other forms of discrimination, and body image and self-esteem. Affirming spaces. Queer individuals should be supported in environments that affirm their identities. This includes LGBT-friendly treatment centers, support groups, and healthcare providers who are trained to understand and affirm diverse identities. Inclusive representation. Advocacy for diverse representation in media can help to combat harmful body ideals and promote body positivity. This includes representation of queer bodies, bodies of color, bodies of all shapes and sizes, and bodies of different abilities. Policy change. Advocacy for policies that promote equality and acceptance can help to create a more supportive social context. This includes policies that affirm diverse gender identities and expressions, as well as those that protect against discrimination based sexual orientation or body size. Resources and treatment that respect individual identities. First, of course, counseling and therapy. Therapy, especially when provided by practitioners knowledgeable about LGBTQ plus and body image issues, can provide a safe space to explore and challenge negative body image. Cognitive behavioral therapy, for example, can help individuals challenge negative thought patterns related to their bodies and develop healthier self-perceptions. Support groups, whether in person or online, support groups can provide a space to share experiences, feel validated, and learn coping strategies. It's also a very good way to build community, which we were discussing earlier is super, super important. Check out our balanced support groups, which are led by the lovely Beck, who is also non-binary. So you will, of course, always be seen here. Body neutral programs. Programs that promote body trust and acceptance can help queer individuals resist harmful societal body standards and foster a healthier relationship with their bodies. Access to affirming healthcare. For transgender and gender diverse individuals, access to healthcare services that affirm their identities, including through hormone therapy, gender affirming surgeries, can significantly improve body image and mental health. Educational resources. Explore resources specifically designed for LGBT plus individuals, covering topics from body image to mental health, like today's webinar. And we also have a library of others at your disposal on our YouTube. They are all free to watch. Addressing body image issues within the queer community requires an intersectional approach that affirms diverse identities alongside resources and treatments that respect and support all individuals. By implementing such strategies, we can work towards a world where all individuals feel comfortable and accepted in their bodies. This is my last question for y'all, I promise. Are there specific strategies or coping mechanisms that you found helpful in building a positive body image, either as a queer person or as an ally? It can be anything. Understanding body image within the queer community requires a nuanced and multifaceted approach, given the complexities of individual and communal experiences. By promoting body diversity, fostering understanding and acceptance, and providing the necessary resources and support, we can all work towards improving body image and mental health within the queer community. Here are some lovely resources for y'all. Specifically, I want to highlight, of course, Balance's lovely social medias. We have Balance and Redefine Wellness and MRN, which are always putting out amazing, relatable and helpful content. I also have my zine, which highlights queer local New Yorkers, whether that's gender nonconforming or LGBT like folks. It was a very long work in progress, and it was definitely a labor of love. So if you're looking for more stories about what it means to be queer and what it means to be queer in New York, that is why that exists.
Awesome. We also, just on that last slide, sorry, there are also just different Instagrams of, you know, people that are a part of the community and are a part of the community and sharing stuff about recovery and body image and all of that. And just to put it out there, balance, can't be responsible for any of the content that anyone else puts out. But these are some really wonderful resources that I think you can find a lot of support and community in. All right. Now, I think we have time for a bit more of a Q&A. You've got some answers to your last question in the chat, Andromeda. Are there specific strategies or coping mechanisms you found helpful in building a positive body image as a queer person or as an ally? Allison said, respecting my body with gratitude has been helpful.
Oh my gosh, yeah, for sure. Being grateful to be where you are and being grateful to be in your body is so important.
Yeah. And I think that goes with, I also answered your question and said that having a more neutral perspective of my body has been really helpful. And I think similar to Allison, instead of shooting to or aiming for love or loving my body or having a positive body image, just learning how to respect my body, even when I don't love it, has been really, really helpful. And then also giving that to others.
Absolutely. We had a more in-depth body image webinar earlier this year with our founder, Mulaney, and there was something really important that she said, which is just like, shooting for neutrality is enough. You're not like a superhero. You don't have to be. You can just meet yourself where you're at right now, and the rest will come along as it needs to.
Yeah. That's really powerful. I do have one more question for you just in the last few minutes that we have. I got it in a message on here. How might people in the queer community support each other in developing a positive body image?
I think it's really important to assess body image ideals and standards within the queer community. So many ideals are rooted in societal standards as well. And when we're already existing on like the outskirts of traditional culture, it's really important to begin to think about, well, if I'm already not part of what is considered traditional culture, why do I have to adhere by traditional societal body image rules and regulations? Nobody, of course, has to, but you're already 1 foot out the door when you begin to enter the queer community. It's really, really important to begin to deconstruct that. And I think thinking of it from that lens was what really kind of sparked my own journey into presenting as I do now. Being like, well, I don't have to look like a girl because I'm not a girl. So I'm gonna just wear whatever I want and feel comfortable in my body the way that I want to feel comfortable in my body. That was like a really important little thing to just begin to deconstruct and begin to align in your mind. And it's never going to be linear. It's never going to be like you're going to wake up one day and you're going to be like, oh, okay, so I'm fine. There are days where things are going to be a little bit harder or a little bit easier. And it's important to have grace for yourself. And to be able to be like, you know what, I'm okay. I'm feeling this way and that's okay. And I'm going to do what I can to support myself and to seek help from my found family and my community and my treatment provider and whoever else you might have in your corner.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm hearing from you that the doing the work for yourself then helps you be able to support the communities you're a part of in a way that's meaningful.
Yes, peer-to-peer support is really, really important, especially within the queer community.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. We're coming to the end of our time and I want to be mindful of everyone's time. So thank you, Andromeda, for taking the time today, for sharing this wonderful webinar with us and just engaging this awesome discussion. It has been so wonderful. If you are here with us and you're interested in getting more support, I just want to tell you a little bit more about some of the programs that we offer here at Balance. Balance offers clients distinct levels of care to meet their specific treatment needs, including a day program, a weeknight program, step-down groups, and individual nutrition services. So no matter what level of support you're looking for, we are here to help and to find what's right for you on your journey. And you can figure that out. You can connect with us by booking a free discovery call, a free confidential discovery call, so that our team can guide you to the next right steps for you. We will put all of the information to connect with the Balance team in the chat so that you can connect with us and take those next steps that feel right for you. Whether you would like to engage in our free support groups, have a consultation call, or book an assessment, please don't hesitate to reach out. We will place, like I said, place the links in the chat so that if you want to book with us, you can. You can also text or call us at 646-631-3771. That will also go in the chat, so you don't have to remember it or anything like that. But thank you all so much for stopping by today. We were so honored to spend this time with you and to have these discussions with you. And we hope you enjoyed this webinar as much as we did. Again, if you want to continue learning about recovery, eating disorders, affirming care, treatment, there are lots of opportunities. Like I said, you can always reach out for that free consultation call. And also be sure to keep an eye out for our emails, where we share lots of exciting announcements and free resources like this webinar, like our free support groups. Our next free support group is Saturday, July 8th at 11 a.m. with Balance's founder and CEO, Melanie Rogers. And we would love to see you there as well. So thanks again, Andromeda. This has been so fantastic. I appreciate it. And I hope that everyone has a wonderful weekend. I'll make sure all that's in the chat, and then you can have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much.